Hi folks, how are you? Always a pleasure to talk to you and extremely happy to connect with you again. Here to speak on a very interesting and contemporary topic, more from the employee point of view. All of you are probably aware, if you follow the Indian corporate landscape, you're aware of probably one of the biggest mergers of recent times. Yes, Reliance Industries Limited, that is Reliance Group, and Disney HotStar, one of the biggest entertainment entities globally. These two have kind of merged, creating a behemoth entertainment industry, behemoth in India. 70,000 crore is the cost of acquisition, and after a bit of a time, yesterday the Competition Commission of India has approved this merger, meaning all the legal routes are clear now and this merger is going to eventually happen. As I said just that this is one of the biggest mergers in corporate India, and probably will almost create a monopoly of sorts in the entertainment space. The joint entity or the joint company becomes home to two OTTs and about 120 entertainment channels, and also to own to one of the biggest cricketing rights to two events globally. That said, that's exactly not what we were going to discuss here. The dynamics in terms of the acquisition and the business proposition is for different business channels to talk, and you are sure could follow that if you're interested. Here specifically what I want to talk to you is about an employee perspective or a prospective employee perspective. If you're a prospective employee and you want to join either one of the organizations at this point in time, or probably sometime in the near future, near time horizon, should you consider options? Two ways of looking at it. Yes, one set of people would want to leave their existing roles and join Reliance, which is a larger shareholder in this, about 65% shareholders. Shares are being held by Reliance, including the family, as well as Viacom, which is a Reliance Group company, and a lesser number of shareholders are being held by shares are being held by Disney HotStar. And in terms of culture, both these organizations are very different. Disney HotStar is a transnational company, would have very different culture in terms of working environment, the kind of hierarchies there, kind of compensation structure and things like that. Whereas Reliance Industries Limited per se is a homegrown Indian group. Yes, it is one of the largest groups in the world, and Mr. Mukesh Ambani happens to be one of the richest men in the world. But that apart, in terms of the kind of corporate environment, in terms of the working style, in terms of the degree of professionalism, there's going to be a vast difference between these two companies. And for people in the tech sector, or probably people who know the entertainment sector well, Disney HotStar is a very favored employee, one of the best employees going by today's standards, I say. And by that logic, the number of aspirants for Disney HotStar are going to be much more than somebody who wants to join Reliance, just by virtue of the fact that Disney HotStar has traditionally been drawing a better talent. So if you are someone who's in the corporate space, who are working either in the tech space or marketing space, or ad sales space, would you want to look at a career opportunity with Disney HotStar now? Is a big question. Why I'm choosing Disney HotStar and why I'm not choosing Reliance Industries here is the stature in terms of the scale of the organization, the culture of the organization, and the fair amount of reputation Disney HotStar holds as a good employer. And this can apply to any industry. This is I'm just drawing an analogy for the entertainment industry, because this is the event which is currently happening, but it could happen in any industry, any sector. A larger technology company could probably gobble up a small technology company. A larger manufacturing company could buy a small homegrown manufacturing companies. Go on and on, the permutations and combinations of endless. But the point is, if you are looking at these options or such options from a career point of view, from a job ship point of view, is it a safe bet to move to a more professional organization which draws talent at this point in time? What would you do? How would you handle it? Is the question I'm seeking to answer. Firstly, you should understand that there are inherent risks involved in making any such move, particularly when there's a transition going on. Things like mergers and acquisitions are time-consuming legal processes. Not alone that, besides the legal facts, a lot of change is going to happen between both organizations. The organization which is larger for sure has got a bigger pool of employees, whereas the smaller company might not have such a bigger pool of employees. Number one. Number two, yes, talent could vary between these two companies, but in terms of functions, there could be a lot of overlap. For example, the parent company could have a bigger, much bigger technology team, whereas to that extent, a smaller company's technology team might even become redundant. So duplications could be there, and logically, any company which acquires today, you should remember that the goal to acquire any company is market leadership and profitability, nothing else. Everything else is just detail. So if the larger company here is wanting to get more profitable quickly by sheer scale and size, and in terms of optimizing operations, the first victims are going to be people, and in that sense, the smaller company people would certainly be at risk wherever there's duplication. There's no doubt about it. Yes, niche talent has its way. Niche talent probably will always be in demand, but if you are probably not very niche talent, a very generic person in the smaller company, or if you have generic talent and you are wishing to move to this smaller company which is being acquired by a larger company, you have to be ready to a certain amount of risk, is what I would say. What risk? Number one, yes, if all goes well, you probably can be there in terms of career longevity, but if things don't really work well, there is a probability that even you might even get downsized 6 months or 1 year down the line once the details of this acquisition goes through. So that is one risk. The other risk is in terms of the cultural shock and cultural differences. If you have been in a much better professional organization or a transnational company, you are moving to another transnational company in the anticipation that culture will be the same. But when the other transnational company gets acquired by a homegrown Indian behemoth, again the culture is going to change, the working style is going to be changed, the leadership style is going to be changed. So you need to be ready for all those impacts. Similarly, in terms of the layers in the hierarchy, a much larger organization will have many layers in the hierarchy, and the titles and designations might vary compared to a much smaller organization. So if you probably are being called an assistant manager now and you're going to be called a manager in the new offer, this manager in the new offer, when the role transitions to the parent company, it might even become a senior executive again. So those kind of shocks are also there. Compensation rationalization also is another important thing. It is not that both these companies, which have been the acquired or the acquiring company, it is not that they'll have the same bands and things like that. There'll be a lot of rationalization in that. They'll use some external compensation and benefit expertise agency and try and rationalize a lot of compensation things. And in that sense, in that perspective, yes, you might also be either a beneficiary or a victim of rationalization. Sometimes when things get rationalized, you might probably go up one bracket in your compensation, whereas when the rationalization happens on the downside, you might have to probably settle down for a bit of a lesser compensation than what you are. So the whole thing is that you need to be mentally prepared for all such changes, and if you probably are not willing to look at this changes, either positive or adverse, I think it is safe to probably stay where you are now and not really look at a change to such an organization, particularly at a time when these acquisitions and mergers happen. Yes, once acquisitions and mergers happen, things settle down maybe after a year and a half. If the bigger organization still continues to be your dream employers, you can still look at them because things will be more stable there. There will be more clarity in terms of things. Attrition will be much lesser than this time when the transition happens. But if you are someone who doesn't want to take that particular kind of risk, who would like to play it safe, particularly from a career stability point of view, then it clearly means that you should not look at an organization, even if this organization is a dream employer at this point in time, because the whole point is this dream employer of today is not going to be a dream employer for maybe 1 year down the line, and that is the biggest factor you need to consider. If you're looking at things like career stability and probably trying to be lesser resistant to change and things like that. So this is the bottom line. These kind of business changes happen in any environment, corporate environment. It happens in the US, it happens in Europe, it happens in India, and once it happens and legally such deals go through, it is only prudent or probably wise for prospective employees to look at opportunities with much of discretion, much of care, with a lot of research, and probably try and get inside information as to how things might transition sooner or later. This is a short input which I wanted to share in this video. Do you have experience in working in these kind of changing organizations? Has the experience been positive for you, or probably have you seen negatives? How have you battled instability, and how have you come out successfully? Or that if you've got stories to tell, please share it with them and share it in the comments. Consider liking and subscribing this video and the channel. I'll see you soon in another video. I hope this was a help. Thank you.